Alright, and hello everyone, it is me, Jay Burns, and in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you all how to make this bracelet right here. This bracelet is my own original design, and it is a part of my little bracelet series I have called the Triple Single Pets, and this particular bracelet is the Triple Single Pet Zombie bracelet. So, here's a couple of other examples that I have. So here, with this one on the left, you can also make your little zombie look like a person instead of a little green zombie, or maybe just use a different color for like their flesh or stuff. So yeah, I'll be showing you how to make this design on the loom. So a rainbow loom, a crazy loom, wonder loom, sunshine loom, any of those looms, just a loom board. And so you'll need one of those. You'll also need a hook. Any hook that you use for making rubber band bracelets should work. You'll also need a clip. Any clip that you use for making rubber band bracelets should work as well, using a C-clip. And then of course you will need rubber bands. And there are 5 different groups, and I'll go ahead and explain what each group is. Alright. So this first group here, the A rubber bands, they are going to be all the bands that are involved in making the skin or flesh of the zombie. So all these green bands, here's a better example, all the green bands in this example. The B rubber bands are going to be the bands, or the background bands, and they are all of the bands in the bracelet that aren't a part of the actual zombie. So all these brown caramel bands. Then, the C rubber bands are also the clothing rubber bands, because they are involved in making all the clothes. So, the sleeves here for the arms, the shirt, and the pants. Then this fourth group here, they are the little extra rubber bands that are used for making the eyes and the shoes, or the feet, if you don't want your zombie to have shoes. And then this last group here, these are the connector bands, and what they do is they connect the 3 rows of the design together and make it possible for you to have them connected and not just 3 little single chains. It also makes it possible for us to have the eyes on the design and the arms. And you can kind of see them sticking out down here. They're clear. So yeah. So in the description I'll have the number of bands you'll need to fill a rainbow loom with the bands. If you have a little bit less or a little bit more than 13 pins in each pin bar, if you count the number of pins in each pin bar or row, you should count 13. And if you have more, you'll need to get a few extra B color bands, and if you have less, you won't need as many B color bands. So, yeah, in the description I'll have everything that you need as far as rubber bands go, and just use the pause button so you can get the stuff you need. We're going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so to begin making the design, you'll want the arrow on your loom pointing away from you. And we're going to start by placing all the bands we need for 1 row of the design. And we're going to be starting on the left. So, to begin, we're going to get 3 B color bands. And we're going to place 1 going out from this first middle pin to this second middle pin. Or, sorry, to this first left pin, so from the first middle to the first left. Then, we'll get another B color band or background band, and stretch it going from this first left pin to this second left pin. Now, if you needed a few extra or a few less B color bands because you had less than 13 pins in each pin bar, then you might not want to have one of the B color bands. But if you have that, then if you have 13 pins in each pin bar, then you'll go ahead and take your third B color band and place it on your loom. Now if you had more than 13 pins on each pin bar, for example if you had 14, you would go ahead and add an extra B color band. Or you can add it at the end, doesn't matter. Anyway, once you've added those 3 there, now we're going to switch over and add 3 skin bands, or your A color bands. And everybody adds 3 of these. So we're just going up the left side here, making a little single chain. We have 3 skin bands now. Now we're going to switch over to our shirt color. So I'm using turquoise, and we're just going to place 3 of the shirt color bands going down our loom. Then we're going to switch over to the pant band. And I'm actually going to go ahead and use 1 skin band for pants, but we're going to place 3 of our pants bands. And then, after that, we're going to add another background band going inwards from this last, or the second to the last left pin to this last middle pin. So you should have 1 left pin with no bands on it. Now, if your loom was a little bit longer and you still have some pins left, you would just keep going up the left side until you have 1 left pin left in the row, and then you would place your last B color band going into the middle. Alright, now we're going to return to the beginning of our loom, and we're going to start placing bands going down the middle. So, for this middle row, you're going to need 1 less background band than you needed for the left row. So, for us using the rainbow looms and 13 pin long looms, we're going to be placing 2 B color bands. Then we're going to switch over to our skin bands, so everybody's going to switch over to them, and we're going to place 3, going straight up our loom. Then we're going to switch over to our shirt color bands, and we're going to place 3 of them. Then we're going to switch over to our pants bands, and we're only going to place 1 this time. Then we're going to switch over to our background bands, and we're just going to fill the rest of the middle pin bar here. So, for us using the rainbow loom and 13 pin long looms, that's 3 background bands. And also, if you have a shorter loom, make sure you end off your bracelet with these background bands. So, you should also have the 3 background bands after this pants band, and then here on the left you should have this 1 background band going into the middle. That's if you have a shorter loom. Alright, now once you finish the middle row, you're going to return to the beginning of your loom again, and now we're going to place the bands we need for the right side of our design. Now, the right side is exactly the same as the left, so I'm not going to tell you what bands to place where, because all you have to do is look at the left side of your loom and place all the bands exactly the same as you did here on the left. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just use the pause button if you need to. Alright. So make sure also here on the right side that you place that band that goes from the middle out to the right, and you also place the band that goes in from the right to the middle. Make sure you place those. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start adding all the other parts of our zombie. So our feet or shoes, our arms, and the eyes. So we're going to turn our loom around so that the arrow is pointing towards us. And also the open ends of the pins where you would take your hook and loom. Make sure that end is what's facing towards you. So, yeah, now we're going to start adding all the little parts here. So, we're going to start by adding the arms. And to make the arms, we're just going to need our hook. It's really easy to make them on your hook, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how you do it. So, for each arm, you're going to need 3 of your skin bands. So 3 for each arm. Then you're going to need 5 of your shirt color for each arm as well. Alright, so for our first arm, we're going to take one of the skin bands, and we're going to put it on our hook and make it a cat band on our hook. So to do this, we put the band on like so, twist it while it's on our hook, and put the other end of this new band, so the new shape you create, you're going to put that on your hook as well. Then you're going to take your other 2, so the other 2 skin bands, put them both on your hook, like so. And then you're going to slide this cat band that's already on your hook onto these new bands. And once it's on there, you'll put the other end of the new rubber bands onto your hook. And now we're going to switch over to the shirt bands. So we're going to take 2 at a time. So we're going to take 2 shirt bands and do the same thing we did with these 2 skin bands. We're going to put them on our hook like so. Slide these bands that are already on our hook onto the new band. And then put the other end of the new bands, onto your hook. Now you'll just do this one more time. You'll get 2 shirt bands, put them on your hook like so, and then slide these bands that were already on your hook onto the new band. Or the new bands, because there's 2. And then you'll put the other end of the new band onto your hook. And then you just have 1 shirt band left for this arm, so you'll put it on your hook the same way you did all those other bands, and slide these bands onto the new one, and then put the other end of the new band onto your hook. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to place this rubber band that's on your hook onto your loom. Alright, so you're going to look for the shirt bands on your loom. So here in this area. And the second pin down from the top of the shirt bands, so wherever the shirt bands go, here's the top here with a shirt band on it. The top pins with the shirt bands on them. You're going to go down to the second one, so the second from the top. So these 3 pins here. And these are the pins you'll be placing your arms. So you only have 2 arms that you need to place. So we're going to be putting them on the left and the right pins. Not the middle, but the left and the right. So you can put this arm on either one. And basically you just take the bands off your hook and put them on either the left or right pin here. And I like to just take a few, or just take one of the little loops at a time. There we go. So as you can see here, here are the top pins with shirt bands on them, and I placed my arm on the second one from the top, so right here. Now we're going to make another arm the exact same way we did this first arm here. So get your 3 skin bands and your 5 shirt bands, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to take a skin band and make it a cap band here on our hook by twisting the band and putting the new shape you create onto your hook as well. Then you'll take your other two skin bands, put them both on your hook like so, and slide this cap band onto the new bands. Then put the other end of the new bands on your hook. Then we're going to take two of our shirt bands, put them on your hook like so, and slide these bands that are already on your hook onto the new bands. And then put the other end of the new bands onto your hook. Next, we'll do the same thing again. We'll get two shirt bands, put them on our hook like so, and slide these bands already on our hook onto the new bands. And then you'll put the other end of the new bands onto your hook too. And lastly, you just have one shirt band left. So you'll do pretty much the same thing you've done with all of the other bands, just put it on your hook like so, and then slide these other bands onto the new band, and then put the other end of the new band onto your hook. And now you have your second arm. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these bands that are on our hook right now and just put them on the other side of the loom from the first arm you placed on your loom. So the first arm I placed on my loom was here on the left. So now I'm just going to find the pin here on the right that's directly across. So right here. And I'm going to go ahead and place these bands onto that pin. Alright, and there we go. So now I have both of my arms, and now I'm going to show you how you place the eye bands. So, you're going to need your two eye rubber bands. You only need one for each eye. And we're going to come up here to where we have all of these skin bands. And right up here where all these skin bands are, this is where the face is. So, that's why we're placing the eyes there. Alright. So, we're going to be placing our eye bands in a way that's similar to how we place the arms. We're going to look for the top pins that have skin bands on them. So, these three here. And we're going to find the pins from the second to the top. So, the next one's down. And that's where our eyes will be placed. So, to place the eyes, we're going to be making them into cap bands, and you can do this one of several ways. You can either make the cap band just like so, taking the band, twisting it, folding it like a book back on top of itself, and then you have your cap band, and you would place it on one of these two pins, so either the left or the right, just like the arms, or you can make the cap band on the loom. And how you would do that is you would take the band and put it on the pin that you're putting the rubber band on, twisting it while it's on the pin, and putting this new shape you create onto the pin as well. Whichever way is easier. So I already have my first eye on. I'm going to go ahead and do the second one. So make sure both of your eyes, make sure they are directly across from each other. Like so. Oh, and there's my cat. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. But anyway, make sure your eyes are directly across from each other, and yeah. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how you place the feet, or the shoes, and this is really, really easy. So we're going to come down here to the beginning of our loom. So the arrow's pointing towards us. We're coming down here to the beginning of our loom, and we're going to find the bottom pants band. So right here, it's brown for me. And we're going to find the pin where this band is on top of another rubber band. So we look here on the side, and right here there's this background band on top of the pants band. So that's not the pin. But over here, the pants rubber band is on top of another pants rubber band. So this is the pin where we're going to be placing the feet / the shoes. So then to figure out for the other side, because we'll be placing them on the left and right, you just go directly across your loom, and there it is. So these two pins here. So we're going to go ahead and get our shoe rubber bands. And we're going to make them into cap bands on these two pins. So just like you did the eyes, we're just going to go ahead and make these bands into cap bands on those two pins. There we go. So if you need more time, just use the pause button. But now once you've placed them, now we're going to place our connector bands. So all the bands that make it possible for us to have the 3 rows together. We're going to place these next. Alright, I forgot to say this in the beginning, but hopefully when you look down in the description, if you had to change the number of B color bands you needed, then you might also have to change the number of connector bands you'll need. You might need a few more or a couple less. So, anyway, we're going to go ahead and start by getting a connector band. And we're going to be placing it on the second left and right pins and the third middle pin based on where the bracelet starts. So as you can see, this left and right pin, they don't have any bands on them. We're just going to pretend they don't exist, so they're not even there. So the second left pin, the second right pin, and the third middle pin. And so that's where we're going to take our connector band and stretch it across the loom. And it should create an upward pointing triangle. So it should be pointing up on your loom. Now we're going to get another connector band and do this for the same thing for the next 3 pins here. So the next left, middle, and right pins, we're going to stretch the connector band in a similar way. Then, for the next left, middle, and right pins, we're going to do the same thing with the next connector band. We're just going to be placing connector bands in this kind of shape going all the way up our loom. Now, if you have your loom set up so that all the pins are in line with each other, so they're all in a straight line, so there's not a space here, but there's another pin, then you would be placing your bands so that they just go straight across your loom. They don't make any triangle shapes. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and do this, going up our loom, and we're going to stop on these 3 pins here, right before the last 3 pins. So as you can see here, I've placed connector bands going all the way up our loom, or my loom, and I stopped when I got to the second to the last left, middle, and right pins. So as you can see, the last pins here don't have any bands on them. Well, other than these background bands. But yeah, so now it's actually time to start looming. So go ahead and get one of your other background bands that we'll be using as our cap band and our hook. Alright, So before we begin looming the actual bracelet, we need to do something with the arms and the eyes, and no, we don't have to do anything with the shoes. Alright. So for the arms, we need to get them onto the connector band that we placed above them. So you can use your hook or you can use your fingers. I find that using my fingers is easier. But you're going to grab the arm, pull it up and over the pin, like so, and onto the connector band above it. Now you'll do the same thing for the other arm. Really easy. And then we'll come up here to the eyes, and the exact same thing, we're going to do the exact same thing here. But we're going to use our hook because it's a little easier with your hook. So you'll grab the eye color band or the eye cap band here with your hook, pull it up and over the pins and onto that connector band. Same for the other side. There we go. So once you have that, now we can begin looming. So first we're going to take this background band here, make it into a cap band. I recommend just making it into a cap band and then putting it on that first middle pin with rubber bands on it. And then we'll get our hook and we'll begin looming. So the arrow should still be pointing towards you, by the way. And yeah, so to begin, we'll pull back this cap band, grab the bottom rubber band, or no, not the bottom, we're going to grab the top band under this cap band, and it should be coming from the left side, so that's where we're going to loom it. Then, once we're here on the left, we'll pull back the top bands, grab this bottom band, and loom it forwards to the next pin. So next left pin in this case. And if you have a few extra background bands here at the bottom, then you would keep looming until you have loomed your first pants rubber band, like I have here. And when you get to your first pants rubber band, before you continue any further, we need to do something with the feet/shoe rubber band here. So, you might need to pull back the connector band, and you want to come from the outside of the pin, so you don't want to go in like you're about to loom the next band here. You want to kind of start here in the middle, or like in the middle of your loom, and kind of go around pulling back this cap or this connector band. Then you'll want to kind of go in there, grab that bottom, or not that bottom, but grab that cap band, which is your shoe band or foot band, and pull it up and over. And what should happen is this band should get kind of stuck here on this bottom pants band. And once you've loomed that, you can pull back this connector band and continue looming your bracelet. So to loom here on the left, it's exactly like making a triple single. You pull back the top band, grab the bottom band, loom it forwards, and you go all the way up the left side. So go ahead and do that, and then I'll tell you what to do next. Use the pause button if you need to. Alright, so I stopped when I got here to the very last left pin here with bands on it, and there's still this rubber band here that goes in from the left to the middle. So you'll need to go into that pin and grab it and loom it into the middle as well, and then you can go back to the beginning of your loom and begin looming the next row. So we go into this first middle pin here where we have our cap band, we pull it back and we grab the top band that's under it. And this band is coming from the middle. So now we're going to loom the middle row of bands. So the middle is very, very easy. We just need to go into the next middle pin here, grab the bottom band, and loom it forwards to the next middle pin. And we just do this going all the way up our loom. Just make sure your arms don't get in the way up there. And yes, just go all the way up the middle row, and then I'll tell you what to do next. Use the pause button if you need to. Alright, so there we go. Once you've gotten all the way up here to this last middle pin, you'll return to the beginning of your loom again, and now we're going to loom the right side of our bracelet. So the right side is exactly the same as the left, but I'll go ahead and explain how you deal with this foot/shoe rubber band here again. So just go ahead and loom up to that point, to the point where you've loomed your first pants band. So for me it's right here. And so after you've loomed the first pants rubber band, to loom the shoe/foot band here, you go in, kind of here in the middle of your loom, and then you're going to go into that pin. Make sure you've pulled back that connector band, but then you grab your shoe or foot rubber band, pull it up and over the pin and onto this pants rubber band that was above it. So make sure you don't go into the pin and loom it. You gotta come in from the side and grab it. So yeah, once you've loomed that shoe and foot rubber band there, you can go ahead and just loom the rest of the right side the exact same way you did the left. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and just use the pause button if you need to. And also, once you get to the top here, make sure you grab that right band, so that last one here on the right, and loom it into the middle. And there you go. Now you can just go through, put your loom here, and now we have finished looming our bracelets. And now it's time to take it off our loom and add our extension. And well, to do that, we're going to return to the beginning of our loom. We're going to use our hook and start pulling the bands off our loom, one pin at a time, working our way up our loom. Now, you're going to want to stop when you get to the last middle pin, not because it's the last middle pin, it's the last pin as well, but because we also need these bands here to stay on this last middle pin. So don't take these bands off, we're going to need them. So yeah, just go ahead and take the bands off your loom here. And here we go. So now we have our little bracelet here, and the eyes need a little bit of adjusting. There we go. And we still have all the bands on this last middle pin. What we're going to do now is we're going to get our last background band that we need for the actual bracelet, and we're also still going to need our hook. So we're going to take our hook, we're going to stick it into the last middle pin, far enough down so that when we have it out to the side like this, it catches all the bands that are on your hook, or on the pin. Oops. Then we're going to take this last A-color band, or I'm sorry, this last background band, put it on our hook like so, and pull our hook up through this last middle pin here. And make sure when it comes out the other side, it only has that band, and then you'll put the other end of the new band onto your hook like so, and then pull all these other bands off the last middle pin. There we go. Now we're going to get some additional background bands, or some additional rubber bands that we'll be using to make our extension. And in the description I didn't include a number for this, or include this at all, because everyone's extension is going to be a little bit different, and also everyone's bracelet may end up being a little bit different as well, because you might have had to add a few extra background bands or take away a few. So yeah. So just get some more rubber bands that you want to use for your extension. I usually use the same color as the background. And now I'm going to show you how you add an extension. Also, have your clip nearby. So to add an extension, if you need one, you're going to put this rubber band here. So you're going to take another rubber band, put it on your hook like so, and slide this band that's already on your hook onto the new band. And then you'll put the other end of this new band onto your hook as well. And as you can tell, it's exactly the same as making one of your little arms, except we're only using one rubber band and not two. So you take another rubber band, you put it on your hook like so, you slide these bands that were already on your hook onto the new band, and then you put the other end of the new band onto your hook. It's as easy as that, so just keep doing that over and over until you make your extension long enough so your bracelet will fit around your wrist. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add a couple extra bands, and then I'll show you what to do next. So use the pause button if you need to. Alright, so just two more bands here. And there we go. Alright, so now I've made my extension long enough, so now my bracelet will fit. And what we're going to do now, once you have the same little thing that I have now, your extension is long enough, you're going to get your clip and attach it to these bands, or this band here, on your hook. Like that. And once your clip is on, you can take your hook out of the band. And then we're going to take our clip here and attach it to the cap band here on the other end of our bracelet. So it should be another background color band. Find that cap band all the way back there. Get your clip and attach it. And there you go. So now you have your completed triple single pet zombie bracelet. So now what you can do is go ahead and put it on. And bam! So, as you can see here, I am now wearing my triple single pet zombie bracelet, and I guess now it's time for the outro. So, I would like to thank you for watching my tutorial. Hopefully it showed you how to make the triple single pet zombie bracelet successfully. Hopefully now you have one and you're wearing it. I think it's kind of cool and stuff. Add it to your bracelet collection and all that fun things, stuff you can do with bracelets. And well, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this tutorial. Other than thanks for watching, and bye!